In 1968, Night of the Living Dead was released to cinemas and would become a horror masterpiece, creating a subgenre known as zombie movies. The film also launched the career of George A. Romero, who would go on to make classics like The Crazies, Martin, Dawn of the Dead, and Creepshow. John Russo, the other writer of Night of the Living Dead, would also make great movies like Midnight, Santa Claus, Scream Queens, Naked Christmas, and The Booby Hatch. Anyway, greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, and I'm going to review for you a zombie film made by John Russo, one of the men responsible for Night of the Living Dead. I am of course referring to Children of the Living Dead. Let's watch. The movie begins with about a dozen zombies gathered in an open field being shot at by rednecks. Why are the zombies flocking to an open field? Why are the humans actually coming here to fight them when they should be running away? I can answer both questions with a resounding who gives a shit because it gives Tom Savini a reason to kick ass. That's right, kids. Tom Savini is Zombie Hunter. I like this movie already. So on his latest zombie hunting related case, Tom Savini investigates a farmhouse where he discovers some lost kids. Not content with simply rescuing children, Tom goes up into the attic to surely crack down on some zombie drug running operations. Instead, the worst possible thing happens. The death of Tom Savini. Yes. Movie, what the hell's your problem? Did you decide you were going to peak at 10 minutes? Tom Savini was doing all kinds of Jedi shit and this happens? What was the point? So we skip ahead 14 years later for some unintelligible reason, and we're left wondering what a movie called Children of the Living Dead is about. Apparently it's about this gang of kids in their Scooby-Doo van, because these are our main characters. Accordingly, their acting is unexpectedly terrible.
Steve, stop it. You're scaring Denise.
Well, Candy Dreamin', your face scares me.
Steve, you're such a jerk.
Abbott Hayes. You don't really believe those old ghost stories, do you?
Yes, I do.
Driving along, the zombified corpse of a serial killer walks into the road, causing the gang to drive off a cliff. Wait, they're dead already? Cool, movie over, right? Wrong.
Lord, please bless these children. Amen.
Amen.
That was the shortest funeral ever. Later that night, two suspicious-looking characters show up at the cemetery.
We just gotta keep an eye out, Dusty. Mr. Jenkins should be home soon.
Mr. Jenkins? This is a Scooby-Doo episode. So these guys are grave robbers out to plunder the unburied and unprotected caskets of a bunch of deadbeat teenagers. It's going well until the local zombie shows up.
Jesus, Jesse, Abbott Hayes!
Dusty, what are you talking about? Abbott Hayes was murdered in prison years ago. You know you listen to too many damn stories. Hey, Dusty!
TMI. So the zombie opens up the caskets of the teenagers and turns them into the undead. Why not just consume their flesh? The next morning, the local zombie rips the throat out of the cemetery's groundskeeper and goes to the trouble of burying him for some reason. Okay. Uh-huh. Come on already! Seriously, next year? What the fuck's wrong with this movie? 15 years have gone by and nothing has happened. Is this a series of short films? So this guy shows up at the local zombie's house and, well, he does stuff. That's it. Then this sheriff guy shows up and they do stuff. The gist of the scene is this guy's dad is going to build a car dealership over this house. This zombie won't have that. This is definitely a Scooby-Doo episode. Pointless scene montage.
It is such a good night to kiss. It is such a good night to dance. It is such a good night to Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo love. It is such a good night to kiss. It is such a good night to dance. It is such a good night to Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo love.
Meet middle-aged fat guy. Watch middle-aged fat guy wander outside. Watch middle-aged fat guy call attention to himself.
Wide open spaces! I'm back! Oh, no!
Goodbye, middle-aged fat guy. We hardly knew ye. Seriously, who was that guy? These two dudes looking to build their car dealership finally meet the children of the living dead. Quite a bit of what looks like ballroom dancing begins to happen, and the zombies stare at them, with squishy sound effects in the background. Later in the morning, this fellow exits his motel room and observes two zombies feasting on a yokel's neck. So he gets in his car, and it won't start. Until it starts and he drives off to warn his girlfriend of the living dead. It's too late, however, because the legion of undead are converging upon her house. They proceed to turn on all the lights in the house, which somehow alerts the police. Well, it's no bat signal, but it works. So the sheriff gets in the house and calls for help. How ironic. Then we get some flashbacks from scenes that happened earlier in the movie in order to kill time before the good old zombie killing posse shows up. Even though these guys outnumber the zombies, they decide to go inside for 2 more minutes of useless exposition.
There's a dozen of them out there.
There's more than a dozen. What the hell are they?
Well, they're not human. Let's get that straight.
So these guys do battle with the zombies outside, while inside this young lady is under attack by a few dozen zombies that got through the redneck army. Moments later, she's rescued by the sheriff, who didn't see this coming. So she's gotta execute him, which she does. And that's the end of the movie. But there's one zombie left. Sequel, right? Hell no. The end. What can I say about Children of the Living Dead? Nothing. I gotta go kill something now.